Incredible. Tasty, tasty. Tasty, tasty. Tasty, tasty.
Hey folks, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I hope you're having a really, really good Sunday. It's just gone 8 p.m. here in the UK, and it's been a long day. I'm tired. It's been a good fun day, but I am really, really tired. I've tried to fix my comp. Failed because I didn't have the right parts. They're on order. I get them tomorrow. Met up with a good friend and spent some time at the workshop today. So all is good in Land of J. Apart from the fact that I'm going to sneeze, and I apologise. I can feel it building. I can feel a sneeze coming. It's going to happen. Kalain, thank you so much for getting first today. He says, hello, wonderful humans all. Happy Sunday. And also subscribes to an 11-month streak. Thank you so much, dude. Captain Reed complains that they didn't get to come first, and that Kalain beat them to it. Sorry, Mr. Reed. You're just a little bit too late today. Angry Swan, good evening, good sir, and Alvy, thank you so much for being here. Cynic12 as well, and the Loose Goose. Captain Redlack subscribed for 7 months. Thank you so much, good sir. Thank you for that. And Tang House subscribed for 9 months, says Party Parrot. Thank you so much for the 9 months of subs, and congratulations on your PT, baby.
Incredible.
Super Hens is here as well. Jay, did you build your 100 NG yet? No, it's in the pile of things to build behind me. It will be on stream either next week or the week after. I think I've got an Oku to build and some other bits and pieces as well. So we'll see where it falls into the kind of the build queue, as it were. Rue's here as well. Good evening, Rue. Void Media. Good evening, Jane. Chat hyped for the bias build. Me too. A disclaimer up front. I am using stock vintage. Well, they're not really vintage switches, but they're stock switches that have never been lubed, and they're really old switches. They're the EV01 switches from 2018, I want to say. So I don't know how that's going to go, but the look will be fantastic. They will look great, and that's all that matters, right? Looks at everything. Anarchy, good evening, good sir. Geeky Ed as well. Good to see you, Geeky Ed. I've not seen you around for a little while, so I hope you're doing well. Mora Forge 2, Zizoris is low. KMW07, sup. Cynic12, I don't know why I have 1 bit. This feels almost insulting. Thanks for the bit, dude. Thanks, I appreciate it. Sriram Sathararam, and I'm sorry if I butchered that. Happy Sunday. Excited for the tariff talk. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit at tariffs and what my broader feelings towards them are. I think a lot of the detail is going to come out in the next couple of weeks, but I think there's some big changes around.
Tasty.
Just in the industry in general, not necessarily just keyboards, but in general. How's everyone doing today? Any new builds today? Just the bias DE for me. Blackbrook, hello, it's Sunday. It is Sunday, which means tomorrow's Monday, which is 1 day closer to me being in Barcelona with you, Mr. Blackbrook. So yeah. Bosch, thank you so much for 10 months of subs. Appreciate that, dude. Ballboy12 is here as well. So is Piney TF. Ballboy says, we'll be catching up on this VOD due to family commitments, but I hope you'll all have a phenomenal stream. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Average Joe's here as well. Good evening, good sir. Hope you're doing well. Building my Matrix 100 NG today. Nice. Which colorway did you go for? Let me know in chat. Shinseki is going on the bias. It is, yeah, it is. It's such a good keycap set. If you're into that kind of theming, it's such a good keycap set. Typing on the Gateron X R3, very impressed. Yeah, the Gateron X R3 are pretty cool. They were my second choice switch, and they're actually the other. I have 2 switches here today. I have the EV01 switches, and I have the Gateron X R3s, just in case I didn't have enough EV01s. Jellymaster, who might not be on stream yet, was here at the workshop earlier on today, dropping some stuff off and picking some stuff up, and he watched me count these out, and there were not maybe quite enough when we had a quick sort through, but I did manage to find a couple lying around in one of my switch jars of leftover switches, so hopefully there are enough switches in this bag to build the board today. We'll see when we get there. When is the 21XX build? Need to work out with Pontus when we're going to do that. It's not going to be today, so I need to sit down with Pontus and Ken and Keys and figure out when that's going to be. I'd like to do it either just before or whilst the group buys live, so I need to just figure out some dates and times on that and just go through everything with them and understand about the build and stuff like that. So yeah, a little bit of work to do there before I can set a date for it, I'm afraid. Nice that Captain Reed has something else to complain about other than shipping. Indeed it is. Excited for the tariff talk? Yeah, we'll talk about tariffs in a few minutes. Getting roasted by chat? Absolutely. Vintage MX Blues time, poggers. Purple on green on purple on green on purple on green. Absolutely. Purple and green. It's a thing, right? Bob Hotshot, thank you so much for 28 months of subs. Thoroughly appreciate you, dude. Icy Prisoner, hi, man. Thanks for being here. Let's be honest, everyone. We're on here for his good looks. Tease streamer. I mean, like, on a scale of 10, if 10 is like Brad Pitt and 0 is like, you know, the ugliest person ever, I'm realistically like a solid 3. Like, that's where I'd put myself, like a solid 3. Bartowski, thank you so much for 29 months of subs. JMS, No Face, and Dynamics, thank you so much for being here. Sean Wens says, Jay, have you ever used different switches on the same board? Yeah, like, do you mean like done 2 builds in the same board with different switches? 100%. There are dozens of streams that we've done in the past whereby you'll see the same board come back and have 2 or 3 builds in it. And we've also did a build for the Neo 65CU a couple of weeks ago where we had tactile switches on the modifiers and linear switches on the alphas, which is good. I was happy to see that Hyperbeige may end up as more than an April Fool's. Yeah, I spoke to G-Tor on Friday or Saturday about it, and he seems convinced that he wants to make it a real thing. I've told him I want to make it a real thing, so yeah, like, I don't know, like, we'll see. Let me just refresh my memory on that conversation. Let me see where we left it. I have slept since then, so yeah, so he reached out to me. He was like, would you be interested in being a vendor for this? Received a ton of interest on GeekHack, and Mario from GMK has already said that he wants to make it a reality. So I know Mario really well. We work really closely together. Yeah, I don't want to talk about other vendors because I'm not sure what's public and what's not at the minute, but there is talk about that as well. And yeah, looks like we're involved. So I was like, yes, I was hoping you'd ask and hear all the details that I need to provide. Looks good. Looks good. Looks like it's happening. On a scale of 0 to 2, I would give you 1. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. A QT, oh, QT pie. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not, but I'll take it. Your humility makes you a 7. That's a -7. Zosko, thank you so much for being here. Superhen says, I'm just here to drink rum and listen to keyboard bounce. It has been a busy weekend. Okay, yeah, it's been really busy for me. So my orange Datsun, I knew the battery was flat because it's been stuck away in the garage since, I would say it was October, but it wasn't. It was September because I was away in October. So it's been stuck in the garage since September, and I knew it needed a new battery because it like the batteries tend to die over here in the winter if I don't leave it on trickle charge, and I knew I'd forgot to put it on trickle charge because I found the trickle charger here. So I thought, oh, it's going to need a new battery, but I'll try and leave it on charge overnight with like a battery booster I've got and see if that will give it enough power. Now, this rescued Tim and Lottie's car a couple of weeks ago. It did not rescue the battery in the Datsun. So I have a new battery on order. Luckily, my brother works for a company where we can get car batteries quite cheap, so I will get one of those tomorrow and I'll put it in the car tomorrow night, and hopefully on Tuesday, if the weather holds, I'll be at the workshop in the Orange Z. Now, the other thing I do need to do, which I'll do at the workshop, is fit a new fuel filter. I thought I'd bought a fuel filter in the off-season when the classic cars are off the road, but no, I bought an air filter, I bought an oil filter, and I bought a new oil gauge. I did not buy a fuel filter, and I know it desperately needs one, so I'm going to order another one of those straight after the stream today and make sure I've actually got one coming. So today was a bit of a frustrating day with the car because I thought, oh, I've all these plans of getting it ready and getting it out for a drive, and I thought I'd come up to the workshop in it tonight. None of that happened. So yeah, the other thing I need to do after I finish streaming is put the battery in the Laurel, which is downstairs here at the workshop, use that, or the battery charger on that overnight, so that's ready to drive later on in the week as well. So yeah, he's confirmed vendors on his Discord server. Great, so I can tell you that Prototypist and Novel Keys will be running GMK CYL Hyperbeige because it's a great looking set. So we are absolutely going to be doing that. Yeah, so yeah, I think he's waiting for, last I messaged him, he was waiting for confirmation from other vendors. So yeah, looking forward to doing that. How was birthday trip? The birthday trip was fantastic. For those that don't know, I was in Iceland up until this time last week. I was going to stream last Sunday, but I'd only just landed a few hours before and it just didn't happen. But yeah, I spent 5 days in Iceland for my 40th birthday and it was amazing. Iceland is one of those countries that the more you see, the more you want to see. And I did meet up with Joe there, who is maybe watching and definitely in the Discord server. He met up with me on the Friday or Saturday night for a couple of drinks, which was really nice, in the bar in the hotel we were staying in. But we ate at a lot of places, we saw a lot of sights, we drove about 1,000 kilometers in just a few days, and we had a really great time. It was fantastic, one of the best places I've ever been. And if I ever had the opportunity to move out there, maybe that's something I'd consider in the future. So yeah. When did Twitch pull support for WebOS? I didn't know it had. That's not something I've seen announced. Watch check. Yeah, I don't like to talk about watches on stream. Oh, hold on, I'm showing my browser particularly, but hold on. It's probably easier if I show it up to the camera. There you go. There you go. In fact, we'll take it off because it's a bit chunky to wear on stream. It was a pleasure, sir. Yeah, it was great to catch up with you again, dude. It was great to catch up with you again. Right, and then this week, I'm away from Thursday until Sunday because I'm going to Barcelona with Mr. Blackbrook. So, hello, Mr. Blackbrook. He's going to cram me in his suitcase and, yeah, abduct me to take me to Barcelona for a few days, which is really, really nice. So, yeah, I'm excited. Is that the one I saw in person? As you nervously looked at me, hoping I didn't drop it. Did I give you my watch? I don't remember. I don't want to look at you nervously. I wouldn't hand it to someone I didn't trust. So yeah. So yes, I'm really looking forward to that. Is that Ryanair carry-on suitcase you're being crammed into? Pass. Don't know. Hopefully it's like a big hold one, but we'll see. But yeah, I've never been to Barcelona before, so I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be a nice little trip, and just time for some R&R as well. It's kind of like a late birthday kind of thing for me, so it's my birthday present to myself in a way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Which means that this week a lot of things are going to have to be like condensed into just 3 and a bit days. I'm probably going to be at the workshop on Thursday morning for about 2 or 3 hours, just tidying up and doing last minute things, but I won't be here on Thursday afternoon or Friday. So yeah, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but yeah. But in terms of other things I wanted to talk about, PT news. Let me share my browser because there's a few things that have happened in PT news that I wanted to just go over with you guys. First of all, we had a massive stock drop the other day. So MW Shark Tail is now in stock. If you like blacks and pinks and greys and reds, that might be for you. MW Stage Warrior is also in stock if you like really cool keycaps. This is one I'm tempted to pick up for myself. And also, I'll be showing you the live versions of these in a moment, but we've actually now, through Milky Way, we've partnered with Milky Way to create our own white on black and black on white key sets, with what I think is pretty solid kitting. Now, all of this is $49.99. And I'm pretty happy with it. It's got the M1, M2, M3, M4 keycaps here, look. All the way up to M10, designed for the J01 series because, you know, that's my favorite thing. It's got UK ISO in base. All of the UK ISO keys are in base. So yeah, numpad and everything else. I like to think this is really solid kitting. Tell me if you think there's anything missing that we can include for future rounds. I know split space bars are potentially missing, but that's something we can cross in a future bridge. And I'll show you these keycaps up close in a little bit as well. They're 50 quid including VAT. All of that for £50. Die sub, black on white, and white and black. Yeah, so they're in stock right now. British Racing Green Round 2 is also in stock right now. We dropped this in stock on Friday. The whole group buy is shipped apart from people waiting for Desmats and Artisans. They are on the way soon. But yeah, UK ISO in the full base, but not in the simple base. So if you want the simple base, it's more of a TKL, ANSI kind of layout coverage. Both bases are in stock right now. There's only 1 unit left of the simple base kit. And the green alphas have sold out, but there were green alphas in stock. And the novelties have sold out as well, but the novelties were in stock too. So yeah, definitely take a look into that if you're interested. We've also dropped MV Classic in stock a couple of days ago as well. If you haven't seen this, this is a set from MVKB, Max Volta, and it's using the new Penguin belly slide keycap profile. Really, really nice set. It's in stock. You can go buy it. Oh, I need to take the pre-orders for the Cloudlines down. And the board we're going to talk about today is currently in group buy. It's 426 quid. It's a lot of money, but it's really, really cool. So we still have some of the first batch left. That was limited to, I think, 15 or 20 units here for the UK, which means you'll get them in July. estimated to be July shipping. So they finished manufacturing in June and we'll get them shipped out in July. Batch 2, if all of batch 1's still out, then you'll get it in September. But we'll talk about that later on because I'll show you the board as well. Great kitting for the price. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. The new desk mats in group buy, you want to buy them all? Oh, which ones is that? Is that the one for Goblin mode? Because there's another Penguin Belly Slide set in production here, which is PBS Goblin mode, which is really cool. And it does have one of the funnest desk mats I think we've ever had. Or was it something else you were looking at? The ones with the interlocking circles? The overlay desk mats? These ones? These ones are pretty cool as well. I think of all the ones, the Sage is the best for me, but yeah, they're pretty cool too. D&D themed, amazing map. It is. The whole PBS Goblin mode is really, really cool. Right. Okay, so I've shown you the things we've got for sale right now and the things we put in stock. I will show you the physical white on black and black on white sets in a bit because I do have them here with our logo on. You can see just there in the face cam. So I'll show you those in a little bit. But I'm pretty happy with them, how they came out. And I think for the price, they're an absolute bargain. Okay. So, Damien says, Jay, any thoughts or insights on the current trade war mess that the Orange Man has created? How will businesses adapt to this if it continues? Curious how the UK is viewing all this since I'm from the US. Badly would be how to sum it up in one word. No matter which way you look at it, I think it's not good. But we'll talk about tariffs in just a few minutes. I'll catch up with chat and then we'll talk about tariffs. Great kitting for the price. Thanks, that's what I aimed for. Don't have any white on black and black on white keycaps, very tempting. Any other colours on the Penguin Belly Slide caps planned? PBS, there's been a few. So there's PBS black on black is in stock right now. So is MV Classic. And we've also got PBS Goblin mode in group buy right now. I know that the beige keycaps from the original run, and I think the black keycaps to blanks, I'm pretty sure I'm expecting those from Canon Keys any day now. So there are always more PBS keycaps coming, yeah. MV Classic is absolutely gorgeous. Don't sleep on it. Absolutely. Yeah. Goblin mode is on group buy? It is, yeah. Goblin D's. Something like that, yeah. I already have 5 green desk mats, but that one kind of speaks to me. Yeah, the Sage on the interlocking circle ones, the overlap desk mats, they look really good. They look really good. Right, okay. So, tariffs. For those that you don't know, tariffs are a way of applying a fee to imported goods and services to generate revenue for the government of the recipient country. So, in the UK, we've had something called VAT for longer than I've been around, more than 40 years. And how VAT works here in the UK is it's 20% on pretty much anything you buy. There are some exceptions, but we'll just pretend there's not for now to make it easier. So you go to a shop and you buy a loaf of bread, and that loaf of bread costs you £1. £1.20. £1 of that is the actual cost of the loaf of bread. 20 pence of that actually goes to the government as tax. You go and buy pretty much anything keyboard related. Let's say you buy a £120 key set with VAT included. £20 of that is VAT. It goes to the government. I don't get to keep that. And £100 is then what we have for the business to offset the cost and all of the other production costs as well. So VAT is kind of like a tax that's on everything. In the US, they kind of have like a similar sort of thing, but it varies by state, and it's called a sales tax. And in some states have sales tax, some don't, varying percentages. But that's kind of like the US's equivalent. In the UK, how it works on imports when you're importing something is you will pay the wholesale cost to the manufacturer or whatever it is, or the retail cost, whatever it is you're buying it from overseas. Let's say I'm buying, 1,000 keyboards from China, and let's say they're $10,000 or whatever is the value of the shipment. That gets to the UK ports, and the UK ports will then say, oh, well, this is valued at X price, therefore you have to pay 20% of that as import duty, which is VAT, plus some handling fees and some other bits and pieces, and some things have another thing called duty, but we won't talk about that. And that amount goes to the UK government, and it's based on import. In the US, they've always had this thing where duties and taxes were generally due if you were a big company importing some things, because they have this thing called the de minimis. And what the de minimis is it means that anything that's valued under $800 doesn't get any import charges, but any single shipment that's over $800 did get some mild import costs. And those vary again from state to state and from product to product, depending on what type of product it is. So what Trump has decided is that he wants to leverage the import of externally produced items and apply a tariff based not on what the product is, but on where it comes from, where it was manufactured. An example of this is from China. Anything that's manufactured in China now has a tariff of 54% applied to it. From the UK's perspective, if I sell something to someone in the US, it's now got a 10% tariff applied to it. If it's under $800, that de minimis, which is kind of like the lower threshold for it, still applies until the beginning of May. So as long as people don't order more than $800 worth or 650 quid or whatever that works out in pounds from us in one order, they won't get any import fees. Once it gets over that, they will get 10% if I ship it to the US, and assuming it's made in the UK. Now, because a lot of the products we have are made in China or Germany, those products aren't made in the UK. They are made in China or Germany. So we have to declare that they were made in China or Germany. So if I declare it's made in China, instead of getting the 10% because it's come from the UK, they actually say, oh, it came from the UK, but it was manufactured in China. So now we're going to apply the 54% tariff to that product. What does this mean in real terms? It's probably the easiest question to ask. It means that the cost of things in America is going to jump up, and it's going to jump up quite significantly for anything that is imported and doesn't get produced in America. It's not good, is the basic upshot of this. It's really not good. And I'm trying to give like a really high level overview and not delve into the weeds here because there's a lot of complexity. But it basically means that everything that vendors, let's relate it just to the keyboard hobby. It means that everything that vendors like, let's pick something. The Keycall 1800 that Novel Keys and Prototype is sold. That was sold like 3-4 months ago, January time, at a certain price. And that price was based on all of the vendors understanding what the cost to produce was, what the cost to ship it to their relevant country was, what all of the other costs of hosting the group buy are, and to have a small margin on top, right? Only that was based on the price being the wholesale cost and whatever the previous standard was for Novel Keys. Now, when they import that, because this is going to be imported after Trump's put these tariffs in place, it's now going to cost them 54% more, which means they're going to lose money on every single unit that they ship out, because there is nothing in the keyboard hobby that has a 54% margin. I've never seen anything with a 54% margin in keyboards. Most things have a 10% margin or less. Most things, at least here for me in the UK. I know the cost of doing business is cheaper in America, so there may be some slight difference in those numbers worldwide, but here in the UK it's about 10% on average. That's not a big margin to work with. So what do I see happening? What's the upshot of this? I think a lot of vendors are going to have to, they can't charge customers more because it's not the customer's fault. So a lot of vendors in the US are going to get hit with big import bills that they weren't expecting and weren't planning for, and that's going to hit their profitability. And they're going to have to suck that up. And that's crap for the vendors, because that means that they're going to have less money to invest in other cool projects to get made. Sucks for the whole hobby. The bigger thing that I see is happening is things not getting made. So let's say that same Keycall 1800 was rerun today. It would be 54% more expensive if Novel Keys only just applied the 54% tariff and none of the processing fees around that and none of the time that it will take them to process that, as well as around man hours. If that increased from, I can't remember what the price was, but let's say it was $300. If that increases by 54%, that $300 board is now going to be $460 plus, for no reason whatsoever other than Trump wants to generate more revenue for the government. Is it really going to generate more revenue for the government? Maybe. What are they going to do with that money? Give tax breaks to the billionaires, right? It's money that the government isn't in need of. But what the real thing is it's going to stop people importing into the US. If I have a customer come to me tomorrow from the US, and we sell a lot of stuff to the US, about 30% of PT sales go to the US, and he says, or they say, Jay, where does this keycap set produce? And I go, oh, it's produced in China. Oh, I don't want to pay 54% extra on the list price, so I'm not going to import it. That sucks for me. But when it's in the US, it's going to mean that things don't hit MOQ. That keyboard that's now, $460 instead of $300, fewer people are going to buy it. Fewer things are going to hit MOQ. Take a GMK set. GMK sets are going to be $200 with the new tariffs in place. I can't remember exactly what it is for Europe. I think it's like 24% plus an extra 10% or something like that. So it's around 30%, let's say. Those tariffs are going to increase the cost of a GMK set in the US. That's going to go up to, nearly $200. No one wants to pay $200 for a base kit. What are the options? Well, GMK is making less than a designer out of a GMK base set. So they're not going to want to drop prices anymore. They can't get product any cheaper, because they're importing stuff from all the raw materials from China and other places, ultimately where it's produced. So what happens? Fewer and fewer products are going to get made. Fewer and fewer products are getting made. The vendors have even less money, and they're not selling as much. So they have less money, and they have to spend more money to import stuff. It's not a good situation. And that's just in keyboard land. That's just in keyboards. If you imagine this kind of scaled up to every industry, there's only one thing that businesses in America couldn't do. If they want to continue to sell their product, they have to either absorb the cost or increase the cost of prices. If they increase the cost of prices, the sales will go down. That's economies 101. Increase the cost, sales go down. It supply and demand and all of that kind of thing. Demand drops if cost increases. The other thing they can do is try and swallow the cost and save 54% of the cost in their business elsewhere. How do you save 54% of your cost to run your business just because you import all your raw materials from China? I tell you, the first thing you look at as a business owner, staffing. Who gets cut? Who doesn't get cut? That's the first thing you look at. So what's this going to lead to? In my view, short term, it's going to lead to a lot of arguments and a lot of people buying less and a lot of people having importing less on a personal basis. Longer term, 3 to 6 months, it's going to mean a lot of companies start to look at costs and how to reduce them, which will mean staffing reductions. Longer term, I think we see a complete rewrite of how industry works and where things are produced in the world. We'll see how it pans out. That's how I see it. It's not just the US people it sucks for. It's everybody in any hobby anywhere in the world, because the US market generally makes up a big chunk of that hobby market. And if those markets disappear, so too do the other markets around the world. Right, let's catch up on chat. Pasty tax is a sore subject. It is. If you've got any questions about this, please ask, and I will try and be as clear as I can. $200 GMK set, let's go. Yeah, this is my worry, that prices are going to increase. I mean, I don't think it'll be quite $200, but it's going to be getting on for that. Some of the bigger sets could be. And this is why a lot of group buys that were due to happen in the next few weeks have just all of a sudden gone on hold, and you won't see them until we understand more about how this tariff situation happens. Shit, this is huge. Could sink some US vendors. It could sink a lot of US businesses, and it could sink a lot of EU and UK and rest of the world businesses as well. If US vendors are the ones buying out group buys to MOQ, you've got to think they'll start rowing back and more buys will just fail. Yeah, 100% more buys will fail. The US vendors aren't the ones necessarily buying things out to MOQ. When you look at the percentages that the US vendors are buying, it's bigger numbers, but it's not as big as a percentage. So quite often you'll see that the EU vendors and the UK vendors will sometimes buy 100% of extras. So as a percentage, that's a much bigger outlay for them. Whereas in the US, buying it out might only take 50% of extras. So it really depends on how you look at that. But yes, the MOQ is generally pushed through by the US market. The rest of the markets combined generally, equal 50%, and the US equals the other 50%, plus or minus 20% in different group buys. But that's the broad math. Definitely sucks for poor US keep humans. It sucks for everyone, man. It really does. You just need to look at the Float 65 and that US vendor to see the size of the US audience in the hobby. Yeah, I mean, the US audience is massive compared to the UK audience or the EU audience, but the US also has more people. So, it's just one of those things. What about the direct ship from the country of origin? Would the unit be under the tariff? Well, so that skips out vendors, which means that, you're shipping directly from the unit of the company of origin. So it misses out the vendors, which means you don't get a local service policy or returns policy or anything like that, or any support, because you're going straight to a manufacturer. And secondly, once the de minimis goes and disappears in 3-4 weeks time, in early May, no, everything that's valued at $1 or more will get these charges, and it will be the same charge because it's coming from China straight to the US. So yeah, sucks for everyone if stuff isn't viable in the US market. Yeah, and I don't think that the Trump administration understands this. I think that they just think it's going to generate, what I think they're hoping for is it's going to bring back manufacturing to the US, and it's just not going to do that because people don't want those jobs and they don't want to do it. Don't worry, guys, the US will ramp up their keyboard factories overnight. Okay, so this is literally what I just said. Obviously being sarcastic, but this is kind of what's being asked. Yeah, so, but to produce things in America is significantly more expensive because you're going to buy your raw aluminium from China anyway. So it's going to be 54% more expensive than it is today just for the raw building blocks, never mind the actual processing and everything else. And US employees are not going to work for the same value or the same dollar amount that Chinese companies are going to work for. The actual cost of producing something in America is significantly more expensive than it is in China. The value of the dollar and the value of the pound and all the other currencies have massive differences in what they can achieve for the people that are earning those wages. It's cheaper to produce in China. It's not cheaper to produce in China with 54% tariffs, but it's also still not viable to spin up a factory to just make keyboard stuff, especially when you've got a country to keep running. So essentially KKB and GMK will cost the same in the States with the new tariff. So yeah, you've got a 54% increase on KKB and a 20 to 30% increase on GMK. They're not going to be cheap. Falklands 42%, Lesotho 50%, Paint Sierra Miquelon 50%, Madagascar 40%. Yeah. The logic behind the tariff calculations was absolutely daft. It is, and a lot of the countries are challenging them already. I know there was a report out earlier on today that something like 50 countries have tried to challenge these and discuss them and negotiate them away with Trump. I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll see. Tariffs are really poor economic theory and awareness, but IMO, that's less the issue. The insane volatility and inability to be really clear what will happen next week makes it super hard for the markets to heal and respond. Absolutely. So I stupidly checked my pension earlier on today, and I noticed that it was down £80,000 in value since a month ago. 80 grand in value my pension is down in less than 1 month because the markets are so volatile around the world right now. Yeah, it is. Without getting into the economics, this is a dangerous time. It really is. It really is. I'm going to stop now, though. I'm pretty confident there's at least one economics professor in the chat at the minute. I don't want to look silly. There is an economics professor in chat. Maybe I should invite him on stream to have a chat. The idea that this is going to encourage more US manufacturing is insane. How can you make that sort of investment if the rules could change again next week? You can't. You can't. No one's going to go and buy whatever machinery, which is going to take months to install and months to train people up to use. Realistically, if you started a new factory today, ground zero, you started and you broke the first stone in the ground today, you aren't going to be producing in that factory for 12 months at best. You're just not. Do you think you'll see other vendors rebadging or servicing goods to try and afford the customers paying tariffs? So, one of the things we've been looking at is how much change do you have to make to a product to change its country of origin. So, for example, if parts are produced in China and Vietnam and a few other places, and then they're all brought to the UK, and we assemble that into the unit, and then that unit is sealed and shipped, where was it produced? The ultimate answer is it goes by where the vast majority of the product was produced, and how you define production. So this is something that we've actually challenged UPS to come back with a definition of what production means, because there is a potential opportunity that if we get all of the keyboards shipped in separate bundles from China, and we have screws, PCBs, plates, keyboard cases, keyboard bottoms, weights, all in different boxes, and we assemble them here, have we done enough production to change it to just a 10% tariff rather than a 54% tariff? Don't know. So that his bigger gameplay theory was that he wants to crash the economy. Can't remember the reason I was saying that, though. I'm sure he makes money from it either way. It makes it cheaper to buy things for the billionaires, right? If the market's down, they can buy everything cheaper. Exactly as Brooks just said. Good news for SP, depending on where the raw plastic comes from. I'll give you a clue and a key where the raw plastic comes from, and it starts with a C. We've been incredibly depressed since this was announced, and as small designers in the ergo space, we're at a loss for what to do with ourselves as of yet. The biggest piece of advice I can give you, Sadwich Bree, is to just hold on. And if you want to talk to a vendor about this, let us know. Just reach out and drop me a message, drop me an email, and I'm more than happy to talk to people about it and try and help you understand some things if we need to. It's not easy right now, but I'm more than happy to talk to you. Isn't the de minimis going away only for CN and Hong Kong after May the 2nd? So yes, but UPS, DHL, Royal Mail all sent an email to their customers on Friday telling them to expect it to change for every country where a tariff is applied before the end of May. If those companies are telling us to expect it, I feel like it's going to happen. Last time we went this hard on tariffs, the Great Depression. Yeah, and that was different types of tariffs. That wasn't import tariffs and things like that. I've lost 2.5 years of interest on my stocks and shares ISA. Yeah, my pension's down 80 grand. It's nuts. It'd be one thing if the US had the manufacturing capabilities ready to immediately produce the things being imported, but it's going to take years to get factories spun up, even if they come to the US at all. Yeah, it's like simple stuff. Like a lot of the tarmac that's used on roads in America, the raw materials for that come from China. So does road production just stop now because it's suddenly going to get more expensive for the government to buy it themselves? Don't know. A lot of the felt that's used on American roofs, because they have felt tiles rather than the slate tiles we tend to use here in the UK, a lot of those are produced in China. Like, almost everything that's made of plastic is produced in China. Look around you and see how many things are made of plastic. It's kind of scary. Rue Economics podcast, yeah. As someone studying international economics, seeing Trump go nuts with tariffs makes me want to question all my education regarding tariffs up until now and how one person can go this nuts. So what Trump has done is he had his first term in office previously, and he was surrounded by advisors that were very much focused on the US. This time he has placed in his own advisors very much focused on him, and I think that's the difference. Even if we open a factory, where do we get the aluminium from? US does not have it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like where does aluminium get produced? Some of it's in Canada, most of it is in China. You know, some of it's in Russia or used to be. A lot of it, in fact, I found out a few weeks ago that a lot of aluminium is actually sent from the mines to be refined in Iceland because the electricity costs are so cheap there. But that doesn't mean it's from Iceland. You know, it's difficult. I'm not going to read that dynamics. That's not something I feel safe reading it on stream. The US is also about control disaster capitalism 101, unless you submit and grovel to the press. Maybe. This is where PT should start providing a J-licked it service, then suggest that most of the values in the lick connection to celebrity, boom, tariff avoided. I don't think anyone wants things that I've licked, but we could sell PT keycaps produced in Germany at, you know, the cost, or maybe I can produce them here. I can 3D print them. 3D printed PT keycaps that happen to come with a free keyboard that maybe came from China. Yeah. Ship PT stickers using loose keycaps as packing materials. Absolutely. I've got millions of keycaps downstairs actually that came from Joe, who used to run Mech Supply in the UK. There's a lot of them. Cincinnati make plastic. Absolutely. Canada, Saran. Yeah, so there's some aluminium produced in Canada. I'm sure there is some aluminium produced in Canada. I'm sure there is. I'm not going to Google it on stream, but I'm pretty sure. Coffee check. What am I drinking? Today I'm drinking Typist's Brew, my own coffee. This is Fiction Blend, as it's my favourite of the three. They start putting tariffs on services. Ireland and Northern Ireland are fucked. Yeah, so at the moment it's only on goods, but I can see it being on services. I'm surprised that it's not on services at the moment. There is precedent for it being on services. For example, the UK's VAT system is based on goods and services, so there is precedent for it to work on services. We'll see. Northern Ireland always gets the worst of both worlds. It does. Put 10% on a couple of uninhabited islands. Yeah, did they put it on Tuvalu as well? I don't know. I'm sure I saw Tuvalu on there. The penguins are going to fight back. Yeah, can you imagine Sora and the penguins chasing Trump down out of the White House? I wouldn't be surprised if Trump starts to hit tariffs on services after retaliations. China's already started and the EU will most likely follow. Yeah, so China and Japan working together, which is surprising. The EU will be interesting to see how they respond, and this is one of the times when I wish every time that the UK had not gone through Brexit. I wish we were still part of Europe. I really do. I'm interested to see how the EU responds, because I'm hoping that will influence how the UK responds. Yeah, China, Japan, and Korea. Yeah, which is unheard of. Like all three of them, unheard of. So yeah. US is a single largest provider of services for the world. Other countries can use that curb these tariffs. Maybe, but there's a lot of services that the US use externally overseas as well. Like I know a lot of people who work for the US, for US companies here in the UK, for example, or provide services for their companies. So it's going to be interesting. Are you attending any car events this year? No plans to. I did. So I actually did get invited to something really cool. I was actually invited this weekend to go down to McLaren and watch the team at the McLaren headquarters in Woking help the McLaren team in Japan at Suzuka. Unfortunately, I couldn't go because wife be no happy if I went. But yeah, I don't have any plans for any car events, but that was something cool that I just didn't quite get to do this week. That's like one of the things no one had on their bingo for 2025. Do you know what? It's one of those things, Soren, that's so obtuse that I bet someone did have it on there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these tariffs pan out. I think ultimately what's going to have to happen is the US is going to have to back down on them. I can't see how they can remain in force long term. But it depends on how quickly they back down as to how much damage is done. But I think a lot of industries are going to struggle. Nice coffee check. Just ordered a kilo of sci-fi tariff these beans. No tariffs on my coffee. Would be dope to do that in Japan. Yeah, I mean, it was going down to Woking and watching the team. I'm not being involved, but just watching the team in Woking handle all the information they have to handle for the team in Suzuka. It would have been cool. Seb, thank you so much for 18 months of subs. I appreciate it. Dude. How would you see it going if they stay in place until there's a new president? Oh, dude, quite agree. I think it's just going to be bad all round. Like one of the topics we got asked a couple of weeks ago was, for those that you don't know, we kind of absorbed Protozoa here in the UK into Prototypist, and one of the big group buys that Protozoa haven't fulfilled yet, which we will fulfill for them, is the event horizon. And Max asked me the question the other week, like. He was saying, Jay, is it possible for you to fulfill some of the US orders because some people have asked you to do that? And it's like, well, and I said yes at the time because I was like, yeah, we can, but like we'll just have to figure out, who's going to pay for shipping and that kind of stuff, because it's going to be more expensive from here to the US and stuff like that. And obviously, like, I need to figure out what the cost is for my team to do that and all of those kind of things. But now that tariffs are a thing, it's like I don't actually know what the right answer is here. So that's something else I need to think about. Sorry, I'm literally thinking out loud on what's going on my to-do list for this week now. So now I need to have a chat with Max Voltar and Ecto from Protozoa and say, right, guys, actually for the Event Horizon, you need to have a think about this. Because that could be difficult. Because I don't think the customers are going to enjoy a nice big tariff on their import bill when the board ships them in a few months' time. So yeah. I think, quite agree, if the tariffs stay in place, the US is going to struggle. I think there will be mass unemployment. If the tariffs are still there in 3.5 years' time, there will be mass unemployment. The stock markets will be significantly lower than they are even now. And I think you'll see a lot of small businesses disappear. You'll see a lot of small businesses just go and disappear. what capacity do you support McLaren, Jay? I'm just a fan of the team. I've got a friend who works there, and he had the opportunity to invite me down. I just couldn't be there. I don't support them in any like service way or financial way or anything else, other than the fact that I buy their hoodie every year because I'm a big McLaren fan when it comes to Formula One. The era of the US at the center of the globalist political climate and economy are over. So America's always positioned themselves as the leaders of the free world, and I put that in quotes because I don't think they ever truly were. I think they just it was just like a phrase that was bandied around a lot, and that's not to take anything away from America or what America's achieved over the past 100 years and significantly since the Second World War. But I do think that financially they will always have the strength to be at the forefront of politics. I think they are actively sabotaging themselves at the moment through policy change and fiscal change. We'll see how that pans out. They aren't trustable anymore? Maybe. Apparently tariffs hit uninhabitable places because they were based on web domains rather than actual country. Real big brain stuff. That tells me that they are going to look at services then. Tells me they are going to look at services. If you do happen to go to McLaren for anything, I would happily come carry your coat for the day. A couple of years ago, I did get to tour the McLaren factory. I was a really lucky boy and got to tour the McLaren factory. I've got a ton of photographs of it. I got to see all the cars and see the whole building in Woking. I got to go and walk around and see the trophy room and the trophy cabinets and have a coffee at the coffee shop there and yeah, see the lake out at the back and everything else. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Are the UK customers of the Event Horizon safe? As far as I know, yes. Like, we don't have tariffs here in the UK. Nothing's being produced in the US. It's all being produced in either China or in Belgium. So I think it's fine for the most part. Yeah, as far as I know, UK customers are fine for it. Pretend you're his driver. I have seen Pokemon Kid drive. He is not driving one of my cars. Imagine Jay's a second vendor to buy a McLaren car. No, I can't afford one. I'd have to sell my house to buy a McLaren, and that is not something that I can do. It's also not something I'd want to do, because as much as I love the McLaren Formula One team, I'm not into supercar territory. My RS4 is more than enough for me. So yeah. Shots fired. Yeah. Not just me getting roasted on stream. You can live in a car, but you can't drive a house. Something like that. Something like that. I do not make as much money as Ram made. So do you want to know the real truth on this? Like, financially, how much have I made personally from running Prototypist for 5 years? Less than £25,000. I've over the 5 years, I have been paid less than 25 grand. And for any of you out there, you know how little that is. Like, it is a tiny amount of money. So no, I am not getting rich doing keyboards. And the only reason that it appears that Rama got rich doing keyboards is because he ran away with the money. So yeah. He had a really great Instagram story the other day. I'm not going to show you it, but I did take a screenshot of it, and I'll read you out what it said on it. In fact, you know what? Fuck it. I am going to show you this. So this was on Rama's Instagram the other day. So it's like a picture of a bridge. I don't know what it is bridge-wise, but then it says, "I lost everything before I found myself. Now even silence feels like home." This is literally from Rama Works on his social media. Did he lose everything? I think he threw it all away. Okay, enough said. Enough said. I have said enough. I've said enough. That's less than Rama spent on a single bag. Yeah, or his chains, or his hair plugs, whatever else you paid for. I can't even afford to buy a car with the money I've made from PT. All of my cars come from personal savings and investments outside of PT. That's not something that I haven't. I was halfway through typing. Fuck it. Jap crap is where it's at. Yeah, big pile of Japanese rust. That's what I want, and that's what I love. Yeah. Bro's posting cringe, the audacity. His website statement was horrendous as well. I had a laugh with a few of the vendors when he posted the statement on his website. I really did. We had a laugh. I was furiously scrubbing psych notes, reading the website stuff. I think I'm not a psychologist like you, Alvi. I read his post on his website. Is it still there? Is it still there? Do we need to do a bit of a talk about RamaWorks? Is it still on the website? Let's have a look. Oh, go away. Yeah. Okay. Let me do a thing. This is the post for a few weeks ago, 17th of March on the RamaWorks website. You can go on the website and read this. This is live. This might be a little bit easier for you to read. As of the 17th of March 2025, RamaWorks has, and that's the legal name of the company, has been placed into liquidation. Online orders are currently suspended, whilst the appointed liquidator conducts investigations. What do you think they're investigating? Chat, tell me what you think they're investigating. Tell me what you think they're investigating. I want to take this moment to speak directly to all of our customers, supporters, friends, and family. Basically everyone he threw two fingers at and told to go away in a not nice way. The past 4 years have been incredibly painful. Sucks to be you. Not only for me, but for my customers and loved ones. Well, yeah, for your customers because you weren't shipping them shit. For which I truly apologize. That rings hollow. If this gets clipped, I don't give a shit. You can clip all this all you want. It has been a tumultuous period in my life, filled with uncertainties and trials that have tested the very core of who I am. In other words, he got fucked up and found out. This is literally the writings of someone who fucked up and found out. That's literally what that means. The experience, as unfortunate as it was, has taught me invaluable lessons and fostered significant personal growth. If he hasn't learned to not be a dick, he has not had any personal growth. I now have a clearer understanding of what truly matters. Posted Instagram of boats and hoes is basically what it seems to be. Running a business is inherently challenging. I will give him that. That sentence is very true. Especially managing stress from ongoing expenses compounded by skyrocketing shipping rates, unreliable third-party suppliers. Up to this point, I will agree with him. Him being one of my unreliable third-party suppliers. Like, he was one of my biggest suppliers for a long time for keycaps and macro pads and things like that. He still owes me thousands of dollars of product. So I agree with that. I don't agree with this bit, and employee malfeasance. I don't agree with that because I've spoken to a lot of people who worked at RamaWorks, and all of them agree on one thing. And it's not that he was subjected to employee malfeasance, let's put it that way. To sustain the business, I parted ways with personal and sentimental possessions. Read, I fucked up and got found out and had to sell my house and my cars. Choosing resilience and integrity over public defense or complaint. If you guys have seen his Instagram or seen any of his posts on Reddit and other social media, that bit is untrue. During this process, in shock and paralysis, staring into the deepest hole, I saw a public example of someone who had stood up for me and said, you know what? No, he didn't do those things, but I found none. The reason he didn't find someone to stand up for him and say that Rama didn't do all of these things is because he did those things. No one's going to say you didn't do them if you actually did do them. I hope my case helps others in similar predicaments choose not to let injustice prevail. If you've done something and you're guilty of doing that thing, it's not unjust for you to be found out for doing it. I would argue that that's the very definition of justice. We must build a society where innocence is presumed until proven otherwise. We have, that's called democracy. And the accusation economy does not have the power to derail reputations, careers, and lives. It's harmful to all of us. It's harmful when you're in the wrong, and for people who have been affected by it when they haven't done wrong. I agree. But Rama, you don't fall into that second camp. I will be working with the Liquidator to provide what is necessary to conclude this chapter, moving forward with my head held high. I have no words. Rama Works will continue. No, it's been liquidated, sorry. Carried forward through select distributors. I don't know of any. Ensuring the product and visions endure. I'm not aware of anything. Only after countless trials can steel be forged. Yeah, that's not quite how steel's made, mate. I believe what lies ahead will be stronger, purer, and more meaningful than before. In other words, I've now had to go find a job. He works at Perplexity. And I can't afford all my nice things anymore. I look forward to personally rediscovering creativity, inspiration, and embracing new beginnings. Well, you got a new beginning when a lot of other people didn't. For now, I will continue writing the end of this with a happy ending. Does he mean he's going to get a happy ending? Because I don't know anyone who'd want to give him that. There you go. I imagine that this is going to get clipped and it's going to be all over tomorrow, but I stand by everything I've said there, so you can, yeah. Let's see what you guys have to say. I thought Rama came from money. I think he comes from a family that has some money. I think he made a lot of money himself and was using funds that weren't his own to fulfill his lifestyle. Posting cringe, the audacity. Yeah. It's there. Pure narcissist, externalizing accountability, painted himself as the hero in the story who did nothing wrong. The man honestly believes it too. Fascinating chat. Yeah, like, he clearly believes that he has been wronged here. Narcissist? I can't remember what the consensus was on this hilarious statement. Yeah, I mean, I think in his head, he's not a narcissist. In his head, he's a victim that has been plagued by people doing him wrong. It's only everyone else that can see what's the truth there. Clueless? Yeah, I think he is clueless. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I genuinely think he is. Investigating how much money Rama has run away with, that's it. Yeah, I mean, how much did he spend on himself? That Cartier bracelet that cost 100k that he just bought to make himself feel better that time, you know, whatever else it might have been. I don't know. Utter clueless and awareness? Yeah. You're telling me this wasn't posted on April 1st? No, this was posted on the 17th of March. Tragic shit trumpet. Dude, I like that term. I'm going to steal that. That post had me rolling. Yeah. When it's April 2nd and the post is still online. No way that sentence started with must build a society. It did, 100%. I read it literally word for word. You can go read it yourself. You can't apologize, then blame everyone except yourself for it. I mean, you can. You can. Just everyone else will call you a narcissist for doing that, right? That's just how it works. Yeah. I like Spicy J. Dude, like, you should come to the PT workshop if you want to see Spicy J, because the J you get on stream often is not the J that I really am. Get Ruo for an economics podcast. Get me onto the diagnosed Rama with narcissistic personality disorder live on stream. Dude, I'd love to do an interview with Rama. I would love to ask him what he did with my money. Sounds like a combination of LinkedIn and influencer bullshit talk. Yeah, like, how many times did he have to run that through ChatGPT as well? For an apology to be genuine, it needs to be 4 parts. Say sorry. Yeah. Acknowledge the impact it had on people. He doesn't do that. He does say sorry, but he does. Oh, well, he says that he apologizes. He doesn't acknowledge the impact it has had on people. He acknowledges the impact it's had on him. Explain what you will do to mitigate the impact to the person. He doesn't do that. Explain what you will do differently in the future. Doesn't do that. This is 1 in 4. Yeah, exactly. He also follows it with an explanation why everything that happened isn't his fault. Yeah. I wonder if a lawyer suggested this. I think a lawyer would have suggested he writes a public apology. I don't think a lawyer would have suggested he write that. There was no integrity there? No. I hope someone buys Rama's domain in or after the liquidation and reposts a parody version of this telling the truth about him. I'd fund that. I'd fund that Kickstarter. What accusations is he even alluding to? 99% of the people were just mad he never shipped products and still never shipped them. Yeah, so I think a lot of the accusations were that product wasn't produced after he'd been paid for it. That came from vendors and designers and other manufacturers, and that was all true. I went direct to his manufacturer to have some of the Rama keycaps that we were supposed to have produced. When I spoke to Denny, the representative from his manufacturer, the keycaps had already been produced, but Rama hadn't paid the bill. So he'd ordered them, but not paid for them. So then I had to rebuy them from Denny direct at a lot cheaper price than Rama was charging for them, so I could get them to customers. So I had to pay for them twice, well, 1.5 times roughly. So yeah. There's also all these other projects. Like, stupidly, 5 years ago, I bought the chess set, the Rama chess set, on a personal level. I love to play chess. I don't play it very often. I like the design. I bought the fucking thing. I don't think anyone ever got those. I don't think anyone ever will. So on a personal level as well as a business level, I've been impacted by this dickhead. So, yeah. Comparing himself to steel? Yeah. Fucking stainless because shit doesn't stick to him. Jason were a part of the world that basically invented steel and made a shit ton of it. You can trust him on how it's made. I'm from about 50 miles north of where stainless steel was invented. I have no idea on the actual production of stainless steel. But Sheffield is not far away. You're right. I'm curious how it's possible that his current employer is okay with his history. He is either genius or his soft skill has to be top notch. I think a lot of it is that they're unaware. Perplexity are not aware of it. He has a portfolio that he can show them of very nice photos, very nice products that he has been part of. I won't say he designed them because I think Kate did a lot of the solid design work for Rama. But he has been part of the process for a lot of those. So he has a very nice design portfolio, and I suspect that's what he sold them on to get the business role that he's got there. I suspect they just aren't aware of all of this. How old is this guy? I reckon he's about 5 years younger than me. I reckon he's probably 35. I don't know though. I don't know exactly how old he is, but I'd guess 35. Completely delusional, inability to take culpability, absolutely. Think he left the narcissist filter toggled on for that ChatGPT message? Yeah. He wants people to feel bad for being angry at him. Clueless. Surely he will one day apologize to Kate, right? Sorry, okay, real talk. If the only person he had apologized to in that message on the website was Kate, I would have had a million times more respect from him than I do, because I'm aware of what he did to Kate and how he treated Kate, and it's just incredibly unfair. And I still wouldn't wipe him off my shoe if I stepped on him, even after that. But I think Kate is the person who, more than anyone else, deserves an apology there. And what did he come out with instead? Employee malfeasance. Yeah. So sad for all the good designers that were fucked by Rama, like Wilbur. Yeah, Wilbur and everyone else who worked for him, Kate and a lot of the team, Benji and a few other people as well. So yeah. Time check. Yeah, sorry, I'm ragging on. Trying to find one of his baseball bats for your 40th. Couldn't find one. I'd just take a normal baseball bat and go visit him. Yeah. Who's Kate? Kate, who runs Hebe, is Kate. She used to work with Rama, and they had a relationship. Let's put it that way. I won't go into more detail. That is not my story to share, and it's not fair of me to share that story. Yeah, that's completely different. Yeah, Kate runs Hebe. Kate is lovely. She's absolutely wonderful. In fact, actually, that reminds me, I do need to reach out to Hebe as a company, because I think they are visiting London in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm going to try and get down to see them. I need to see when that is. So yeah, right, okay. We've talked about that. Digressed massively. Let's crack on with showing you what I actually want to show you today, and let's talk about prototypist products, because yeah, we've recently worked with Milky Way to bring a low-cost keycap set to production. We actually paid for these back in, I want to say, October last year. And what we've done is tried to make sure that there was a black on white and a white on black keycap set that was in stock that was relatively cheap. These are $49.99 including VAT, so that's $41.67 excluding VAT. So $50. That has UK ISO in base. You thought this was just a hot take stream, dude? You couldn't handle my hot takes. So here is the white on black set. It's white on black. These are the actual keycaps, white on black. Nice crisp legends. UK ISO in base. Look at all those cute UK ISO buttons up at the top, the keys there. Tons of compatibility. Basically cover most keyboards, whatever keyboard you want. Including the keys that are really important to me. Macro, sculpted macro keys. For XT columns. And as well as white on black. We also have black on white as well. These are die sub, PBT die sub. Super lovely for the price. Don't get me wrong, these aren't perfect. These aren't going to be, you know, GMK quality, but they're not GMK prices. Look how nice they look. Why are there 2 ISO enters? Because why not? To be honest, that's a mistake. There was only supposed to be 1, but they shipped with 2, so there's 2 in it. It's as simple as that. We didn't ask for 2, we got 2. I think what happened was I told them what keys were in UK ISO, and they already had ISO coverage in the base kit, so we ended up with 2 ISO keys, but it's fine. You can use one on a macro pad. So there you go. These are die sub and reverse die sub. Just die sub keycaps, nice and cheap. I couldn't get double shot for the price of these. Like we're basically, so if I can get this back in the box now. I did crush this box slightly. I did by mistake crush it while I was taking some photographs outside the other day. Oh, that was a horrible noise. No, we haven't built the buy-in yet. Yeah, I mean these aren't the best keycaps in the world, but they're great, and they've got UK ISO in base, and they're cheap. You know, they're 50 quid. They're super cheap. Accidental J to the box. Yeah. Sometimes these things happen. Love icon mods. Yeah, so do I. That's why I chose them. Like I was working with Milky Way, and they were kind enough to put this on here. I didn't ask them, so I just told them I wanted really, really clean box. I gave them the design for the box. They had to put this bit on here, and they put that on there as well. So yeah, it's just an essential collection. Like, nice for everyone. A lot of caps for the money. It sounded like you shot yourself. I've never shot myself, actually. It's one thing I've never done. So yeah. A lot of keycaps for the money. Yeah, great coverage. That's ultimately what I wanted to do. Low cost, good coverage, tons of compatibility, nice quality. They're not going to be blow your socks off keycaps, but they're cheap, and they're good, and they're nice. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Can you get GMK to offer Node or smaller language kits from their store from Hyperpage? I haven't looked into that yet, stores, so it depends on who's going to be the EU vendor. So I need to speak with one of the list of things that Tor and I am going to talk about is what we're going to do from the EU's perspective. I don't like it when GMK want to sell the international kit only, like with Skywriter. It just doesn't feel organic to me. So we're going to work on it. We're going to work on it. That set and JOG are both good work from you, Jay. I like the cheap, simple options with good coverage. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do with it, right, guys? Like everybody says, oh, we need some cheap keycaps that have UK ISO in them. There we go. We've done it. And in the terms of JOG, no one wants beige clearly because it's not. I think we gave away more free sets than have sold, like to people to share it. There's a little fly flying around. It's annoying me. So clearly people don't want cheap beige. They just don't want cheap beige with UK ISO in it because no one buys that. JOG is a great set. It's in stock, but it doesn't sell very well. So, you know. That's that. Hopefully, white on black and black on white people will buy because like we invested a shit ton of money in this to make sure we got tons of stock ready to sell, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. You bought 2 sets. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. JOG is such a good quality. Yeah, like a lot of people everyone who's bought it has said it's really nice. Like I don't think we've had anyone buy the JOG keycap set and say they didn't like it. But like, you know, I just want to make things cheap and available. I really do. Hope Pompeii goes ahead. Really excited for that set. Me too. I just need to chase Jim K on Pompeii's test keycaps, the samples. I need to find out where they're at because they were promised to come with Jim K Rascals and they didn't. So I need to chase where they're at. Big fan of JOG, just typing on it. Need to buy another one. Nice, man. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. I appreciate anyone who did buy it. Yeah, like it is a really good set, and I hope that these sell well as well, because I invested a crap ton of money in these, and if they don't sell, I won't be happy. But, you know, we've made them as cheap as we can. I think we make like £1.50 a set or something like that in profit margin. So it's not huge money. It's just more in terms for making it available to the community. So, yeah. Cat Midas, yeah, we are waiting for our shipment of Cat Midas. I've had it airshipped from China, so it shouldn't be here for. It should be here soon, basically, Alvi. Yeah, but Cat Midas is. Let me see if I can figure out where that is actually. I'm almost certain that it's currently en route. Yes. Okay. Let me. I'm gonna. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get UPS up. I'll show you the tracking live so you can see. This is where. Right. Let me share this right now. This is where Cat Midas is right now. Oh, so it's still label created. It hasn't actually shipped yet. But it is on the way, basically. So I will chase up why that hasn't shipped yet. I got confirmation on Friday it was being dispatched, so I can only assume it's going to be collected on Monday. Yeah, it's probably just a weekend. Did Prussian meet MOQ? I don't know. Sharon was handling that one for PT, so let me have a look and see if Prussian Blue. Let me have a look. I don't know is the honest answer. Pass is the honest answer at the moment. I don't know. I don't see an updated number on that at the minute. I'm pretty sure No Pun in 10 will be updating on that very soon. This is about your bi-monthly check-in request on the status of Midnight Rainbow and the J series. Midnight Rainbow, I'm waiting for GMK to re-quote on it, and I'm also waiting for Key Creative to quote on it. So Midnight Rainbow will happen. It just depends. I want to buy it all up front and then have it in stock. And if other vendors want to carry it, they can. J series are waiting for me to recoup funds from the losses we had from Cactus and from Lubed Switches. As soon as I'm in a position to be able to order all of the boards up front, I will do. And then we'll sell them. Also, half the ads in the US said ABS. The main page said PBT. Is it definitely PBT? For Midas, Alvi? Let me have a look. Midas, where is Midas? Where is Midas? Where's the chat gone for that? I had that open earlier on. Hold on. Let me check. Let me check. Cat Midas. The information is not in that folder. Is it in the asset drive? It does not tell me. Okay, so it's ABS double shot. How much of this can I share? I don't know if I can share this. I'm not sure I can share this. This is the invoice that I'm looking at for Cat Midas. But it says ABS 2-shot on it. So, Black Mods, ABS 2-shot. Beige Alpha, ABS 2-shot. Black Alpha, ABS 2-shot. Yeah. Is that from Midas? Yeah, Midas. Yeah. So it's ABS double shot. There you go. ABS double shot. Did I miss the showcase of MW Stage Warrior and Shark Tail? No, I only showed it on the website, but it's in stock. You can order it right now. Do you have samples of Midas to show? Not here with me, no. Is showing the tracking number a good idea? No one can do anything with it. It's a business one. Prussian Blue only just went live till April 20th. Yeah, I don't have the latest numbers for it, though. MWJ isn't on the PT Notion page. I'm guessing you're updating page pull through emails. No, so IC Prisoner, what happens is when the group buy closes, then we get an invoice from the manufacturer. As soon as we get that invoice, it then goes on to the updates. So it'll be on the updates at some point. Bear in mind that Sharon's been on holiday. I was away in Iceland for a week. Mel's currently off sick. So, you know, the team isn't, you know, fully up to date with everything at the moment just because of life stuff. But we will get there. Still waiting for my board from STR. Okay. I don't know what board that is, but yeah. Buy PT and stock items if you want J1 faster. Yeah, basically, if you want me to run the J1 faster, spend money with us, yeah. Bolt said ABS had issues, so they went for PBT. I only looked at the invoice. That's the only information I have on it. I will double check before we sell it. We don't have it for sale yet. It will be correct on the product listing when I get it. The Pro transmitter being ABS? I don't know. I will make sure it's correct on our product page once we get it, but we haven't received it yet. Key rate of change to double shot PBT. Okay, I don't know. I will double check. In case you missed it, Cat Midas was produced with double shot PBT instead of the original planned double shot ABS. There is a small issue internally identified with the space bars. So yeah, so Sharon handles that relationship for us. That's her job. I can't be involved in every project and every group buy that we do. I don't know the details. I only had the invoice to go from where it said double shot ABS, but we'll make sure our product listing is correct. Any news on the F1 V2? Yes, all updates are on our website. You can check on the updates, but they're currently en route to us from GMWorks. He sea shipped them to us last week, and the sea shipping was double the cost of the original quote for air shipping, which means it's been a very expensive group buy, and I think we've lost money on every single unit we sold. How was Iceland? Fantastic, amazing. I want to go back. Thank you for checking that. No worries. I can only check what I have information access to, like, while I'm streaming. It's not the easiest thing to check, but I'll double check and make sure that the listing's right before it goes live. So yeah. Don't suppose there's any news on the Darling Artisans at all. Darling's been marked completed on Notion, so I wasn't sure if the updates will still be posted there or not. Yes, so they will be still posted there. It's just completed from a GMK perspective. I don't do tiles for the individual things like desk mats and artisans because we just have too many of them for it to be clear. But yeah, it'll be updated on there when we get them. I think the last I heard was that they were with Hebe and they were going through QC, so I expect they'll be dispatched towards the end of this month, hopefully. But yeah. But yeah, cool. Right, let's build a bias DE because I've been streaming for an hour and a half now, and we haven't even looked at the board we're going to build today. So yeah, so go buy all the things, do the thing, buy some white and black and black on white because it's in stock, and we worked really hard on it, and it's good quality. Right, so let's talk about how we're going to build this bias today. We're going to use a little known key set called GMK Shinseki. We're going to use some EV01 switches just to fit the theme. We're going to use some Type Plus stabilizers, restock next week. And there is the board itself. A normal J stream, talk about the important stuff, and the keyboard maybe comes later. Yeah, something like that. So, let's see what we have in here. Have daughterboard and cable. Nice. This feels like a plate. I have the polycarbonate plate. Have the solder PCB, and we have the, I'll say it just for you guys once, the PP plate, the polypropylene plate. So, which plate would you guys like to see? Would you like us to build with the polypropylene or the PC? If one of our wonderful moderators could put up a poll, I'd love that. If not, let me know and I'll put them in. Type Plus coming back in stock, yes. $9.99 for the standard pack and $13.99 for the larger packs. Let's see if we can get a poll up. I'll unwrap them both whilst one of the mods is creating the poll. The play options are PC or PP. Here is the polycarbonate. This is a smoky polycarbonate. And we also have the polypropylene. I don't know what colour it is. Oh, I do now. We have polypropylene. So, you guys can pick which of these you'd like to see in the build. Whilst we're looking at that, we'll also take a look at the PCB. Is that which way the vote's going? Yeah, everyone loves the polypropylene. Nice big black polypropylene. And here we have the PCB. So, we are going to be building this ANSI today, which I know a lot of people are going to hate, but we are going to be building it ANSI. Here's the rear of the PCB. Lots of lovely LEDs. Super, super cool. We also have the amazing little lanyard. And here is the board. I was showing this to Jellymaster, who came for a visit earlier on today. And he was very much in love with this. Look at that for a colorway. Let's open this up. Oh. The lanyard. 5 seconds of that's cool, and then never to see the light of day again. Well, it depends on if you play Biolinya's game or not, right? So here is the board itself. Look at those colours. Jellymaster, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs as well. Here is the Bias DE. Let's get this out of the way. And let's open the case up. What size screwdriver do we need? I think.
Tasty, tasty.
Thank you so much, that Mangus, for the sub as well. Thoroughly appreciate you, dude. Such a lovely colourway. This with the navy and patina is really nice. Yeah. Don't need to be tempted to get under the board. Dude, this thing looks phenomenal. Screws are tight from factory, but that's okay. They're not Chinesium screws, so they're not going to strip. He says, worried that it's going to strip. see the inside of the case. The thing I want to draw your attention to here is the two diffusers that I've just dropped out of the case here. These sit into the case just like so. Whoops, dropping that one out now. They sit in the case just like so, and they diffuse the light across the front and rear edges, and that's why the PCB has LED strips across the front edge and the rear edge. So yeah, super cool. Okay, so building with the polypropylene plate today. So I'm just going to take that and pop the polycarbonate plate to one side. I'm going to take the two diffusers, just pop them to one side, and then put the top case back on. Just look at the design detail here. The polypropylene, Mr. Collane. Are you still thinking of getting Motif 65 prototyping? I don't know if I'm still getting one or not. I have no idea. I shall ask on Monday. In fact, before we go any further, let's install the daughter board. What happened to the Synovia? Still going to group buy soon? I believe it's still happening. I don't know when. So I have spare feet. I think it had feet installed, right? Yeah, feet are already installed, so we don't need those. Let's get the daughter board installed. Will the PT80 work with this? In theory it should do, but it won't support the LED strips. Yeah, if you used our daughter board it would work, but I don't think you wouldn't have the LED strips, that's the only thing you wouldn't have. Yeah, as far as I know the Synovia will happen, I'm just not sure when. I'm not sure when that's going to happen. Okay, daughter board installed. Just going to put the feet to one side. Just going to pop the top case back on for now. And you can see the thin gap here where that diffuser will sit, just between the top and the bottom case. And that's present on both the front and the rear. Okay. So, next job is to get our stabilizers ready and in the board. As I say, I am going to build this ANSI. I don't care if you dislike that, but this is going to be an un-ISO build today, I'm afraid. I'm going to use these Type Plus stabilizers. Just going to get cloth out so I don't get lubricant all over my desk. JQ disappearing. Okay, we're going to build it with a 7U spacebar. And then we're going to put backspace on there. We're going to have full left shift. Full right shift. And ANSI enter. We're going to need the screws, and I'm also going to put the pads on the PCB as well. Come on. When they come out the baggie anyway. Come on. There we go. So we'll lubricate the stabilizers first, then we'll install the pads, and then we'll install the stabilizers. What's your preferred stabs right now? Type Plus stabs, which we'll have a restock of this week coming. If you build it ISO, you can at least check that it works, both hardware and software. It's not like we've been encountering issues with that recently with Buzz. I will probably rebuild it at ISO at some point, but not today. So yes, that probably will happen. Just got around to trying the Night V3s, but I have Type Plus sitting in the box. Yeah, so we should have Night V3s as well soon. We've been waiting for a little restock a while back. So hopefully, I'll check in with Manu where they are, but they should be arriving soon. Because we've had them on order for probably about 3 months now. Is PT shipping out the Protozo Event Horizon as well? Is Protozo still doing that? We will be doing that. We'll be handling that. Oh wait, did I get the wrong side in here? I did. Yeah, I'm waiting for an update on the Event Horizons as to where they are and when we expect them to arrive. I have no idea, Alvi, how they've managed to do that and get around data protection, but I'm glad that you managed to get aboard. Okay. I'm just going to reloop these. I decided to lubricate the wires on this one, which I don't usually do. I usually assemble these stabilizers first and then lubricate the wires, but I forgot and did it wrong. So I'm just going to retune these a little bit, and then we'll carry on as normal, which is assembly first, then lubricant. Where did you get the custom MX mouse Master 3? I always forget to ask. It was painted for me by Leonardo de Mouse. He no longer does custom mice, but he did them for a long time. Synovia is ironic because it sounded bad, but it's been in production for like 3 years. However, glad they didn't rush it. Yeah, I mean, the Synovia is going to happen. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. The color on the BIOS looks so good. Yeah, so many of the buy-on boards I'm saving money for. That's fair. Got to remember though that the other buy-on boards won't get made if the BIOS doesn't get made. Like, boards have to show their popularity, otherwise sequels don't happen. Did you ever find the Danish battleship? I'll be honest, I haven't actually looked for it, but now I have the 21XX from Pontus to build. It's actually just behind me. It's just there in that pile. I will need to find it out because I want the comparison on stream of the original battleship versus the new 21XX. So yeah, you will see that at some point. I will have to dig it out for that. And then maybe I'll let you buy it. Yeah, I've got the Synovia downstairs. It was available at the PT Open Day a couple of weeks ago for people to type on. The Reaper mouse sold out now. It sold out a few months back. And then it was returned, so we had to destroy it, but it's what it is.
Tasty, tasty.
Manu, thank you so much. 17 months of subs. He says, if anyone has questions about buy-on projects, let me know. So there you go. Ask away in chat about buy-on projects, guys. Hopefully the prototype of the 21XX gets sent around for good marketing before the group buy. It's literally sat right behind me. We'll have it on stream here, don't worry. Okay, I'm just going to finish the spacebar lubrication off first. Just a very thin layer on the slider rails. Yeah, Brian, I do need you to chase up where our Type Plus V3 step, not Type Plus, our Night V3 steps are as well, dude. That is something we need to chase up. It can wait till Monday though, no rushes right now. Tell us more about PEI plates. Expensive to make, yeah. I was hoping to get one with this, but Ultim is not a great material to work with overall. We have a load of Ultim knobs in the workshop from a different project that were a real pain. Don't suppose QK have said if they're sending you a Duo Alice. They're sorting out the details at the moment, so they will probably ask Sharon, as she manages our account with them, if we would like one at some point soon. So if we can get one, we will. We've had pretty much every other QK board on stream, so I would imagine we'll get that as well. Do Nova 2, please. Man, I lost so much money on GMK Nerve, it's unreal. So I don't tend to reach out to designers, Niku. I think it's really, it's much more organic when designers choose the vendors that they want to work with. And I think, so I very, very, very rarely reach out to designers and say, hey, I want to run your design. Because I think that's a really obtuse way of doing it. Don't get me wrong, I have done it for maybe 4 or 5 times in the history of PT when there's just been something that I've been absolutely desperate to run. But for the vast majority of times, the designers come to us. So I haven't reached out to them, no. But I'm more than happy to work with them. More than happy to work with them. Any updates on Lava? Completed waiting shipment for Kazewa? Yeah, I'm waiting for the shipment at the minute. Actually, Manu, remind me to reach out to you tomorrow about that, actually. About Lava. Because I think we need to arrange for shipping for both the original PT orders and the ones we took over from Loop Switches. Nevin DCSS for a small group buy? Yes, that happened. Or I think it's happening. One of the two. Do I have a Biosar one? Would be interesting to compare them. No, I sold my Biosar one. I can't remember who I sold it to now, but I sold it about a year ago, maybe 2, because I had the black one. but I no longer have it, so I do not have the board to compare to, I'm afraid. I apologize. Okay, lubrication done. Yeah, you did post about that on Instagram, Manu. What's the most humorously named project or KB component material? Is it PP, or if not, why not? Sure, you can have PP as one, or you could also have Little Coup, which is by a Vietnamese maker, and that is what you think it is. Little Coup. Kind of wish the bias board here had more of the eye screws and crazy things from past designs. I think Bion has like designs that work for the vast majority of people, like the bias, and he also has the more differentiating stuff that doesn't work for a lot of people. So it just depends on what you want from a Bion board. But there is a Bion board for everybody, I would say. Yeah, the Synovia and the DE are closer together, you're right. They share a lot of the same design language. I would die to protect little SPC artisan. Yeah, a few SPC members have received one for doing good things for the community. I do have some more. I should probably try and give the rest of them out. So as I say, we will be building this ANSI today, but I think we will rebuild it with the PC plate in ISO format. Okay, slowly getting there. I'm gonna have to try and solder at the speed of light today.
Incredible.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Punky PJ, for the follow. I play it with the new space backup before the group binds. Thank you, dude. I would appreciate that. Maybe we save the ISO build for that. Try and check a PCB in with that as well, Manu. That'd be good. And then I don't have to desolder this one. Okay. Last set of shims to put in place. Not shims, pads. The bias DE be compatible with other PCBs like the Venom HE? So in theory, yes, but you'd lose the functionality of the LED strips that we talked about before. But in theory, they should fit. So the board would work as long as it had daughterboard compatibility, and you'd likely have to change the daughterboard out for your own. But theoretically, it should fit in the case and would work, but you would need to do your due diligence on losing the LEDs. install the stabilizers now. All colorways in this project are insane. Yeah. Buying on Manu have done a great job picking the colorways for this run. Like, they're just so good. Cocoa Blacks, thanks. Yeah, I did see that Bol was talking to me about them the other day. So yeah, we'll get those in. Okay. The red copper patina weight on the blue color. Yeah, that is a good colorway. Has anyone bought a bias in chat? The DE? Has anyone picked one up? And if so, what colour have you picked up? Or are you planning to pick one up? And if so, what colour are you planning to pick one up in? Because if this stream hasn't convinced you that this is the right colourway, I hope it does by the end. What's the oldest keyboard I have? So do you mean custom, or do you mean like just in general oldest keyboard I have? Like the oldest custom keyboard I've had, I don't own it anymore, was a DK Saver. I think that's still in the UK though. The person I sold it to sold it on. I think it's been sold out a couple more times since then, but I'm sure I saw it in the UK a while back. But I don't own that anymore. That was probably the first ever custom as well. I think that was 2000 and... Oh, I just knocked the stabilizer out there? No. 2011, I think. The oldest one I have and still use is probably the OTD Cheat, which I think was 2013 or 2014. If you mean in general, oldest keyboard that I have. Mr. Customs, the DK Saver wasn't that old, was it? DK Saver wasn't that old. I was not the first owner of it. I thought it was later than that. OTD the Cheat also. Yeah, I have a Cheat in the drawer just behind me. I actually have two Cheats. One's here, one's at home. I have a black and red one and a red and silver one. A black and silver one, sorry. No. Sorry, I have a red and silver and a black and silver. I can't remember which one's here, but there is one in the drawer behind me. Obviously, the OG Customs then. He probably knows more than me then. I didn't think it was 2007, 2006, 2007 though. I thought it was later than that. Okay, stabilizers all installed nicely. PCB and plate looking great. Let's dig out a plate fork and get the switches installed. This is where I couldn't find a plate for. Keep things tidy. Three runs, 2006, 2008 and 2011. Okay, I think mine was from the 2011 run then. I wasn't aware it had runs prior to that. Which plate performs best, in your opinion? Standard or the new cut? Do you mean for the bias? Hold on. That felt like a bent pen. Yeah. Come on. Where do you want to enter? Oh, are these just going to be like that? Okay. The posts on these switches are really quite tight onto the plate, onto the PCB. So this might be a slow switch install guide. Yeah, they really need some pressure putting in. Goodbye in 2006 is wild. Yeah, so a lot of the hobby started in Korea. And there was a Korean forum where a lot of the early OTDs and DKs and other KMEX and a lot of other designers started to develop what became the hobby we know and love today. And then Geek Hat came around 2009, 2010, I think. I was in primary school in 2006. That's because you are young. I was working in 2006. I just started in 2005 at Lloyd's Banking Group. So I was definitely working at that point. So we're gonna go for stepped caps because step caps is best, as we all know. But I was definitely not thinking about custom keyboards in 2006. There's one super interesting DK on sale right now, $2,000, and it's engraved by a man who makes government orders for medals and other stuff for South Korea. Yeah, is that Apsuni? I have a keyboard engraved by Apsuni. It is not a DK, but it is. It's an old TX keyboard. I was in a Motorola data center in Bangalore in 2006, installing conferencing software 3 months after graduating uni. Nice. Gats made me sweat and scratch all the plate from one of my keyboards. I've not used them since. You're just about to sit your GCSEs? Yeah, I'm just old. That's all it is. As everyone keeps reminding me since last week. Yeah, I'll show you what I have from Apsuni. So this is the board I have engraved by Apsuni. It's called the Athena board. All hand carved. This is all 3D relief. It's hard to show you, but it's all 3D. Etched into it. And then the weight on the rear. It has all this design etched into it as well. And if anyone would like to purchase this, let me know. Because it is for sale. First year of uni for you? Nice. 2006 feels like yesterday. In some ways it does. In some ways it does. So many times I've thought about buying it. Yeah, it's a lovely board, but I just don't use it, so it's time to trim down the collection a little bit. And I've started doing this over the past year or so, but that is a board that I will have to pass on. Is that on the list? I don't think it's on the official list, but it's like it is on my internal in my head. This board can be sold. I've been its caretaker for a long time. Thanks for the great service. We received the Neo 75 during the week. It looks great built. Congratulations, man. Great board. The Neo 75s are fantastic, especially the CUs. Such good value for money. Feels like 100% Alvey or Hodges thing. You're very tempted. You know where my DMs are, good sir. Probably cheaper than what you paid for the Event Horizon. Actually, I don't know what you paid for the Event Horizon. I don't want to know what you paid for the Event Horizon because I have to handle all of those and make sure I'm insured for all of those. I do know that one Event Horizon exchange hands for about 3,500, so yeah, a lot of money. I like that it gets tight on plates and switch holes. Problem was when Vertex went with smaller switch sizing to compensate for other switches like HMX, and that results in gets being glued to the VTX plates. Yeah, well, just one of those things. Guessing that's a remortgage time board. Maybe. I don't think it's particularly bad cost-wise. I did not pay for the engraving, so I can't tell you how much it was. Event Horizon reminds me of the Supermassive. That never happened, right? Not yet, no. I think it's planned to happen after Event Horizon ships, I think. But I'm not 100% certain on that. Oh, is it being made alongside? Ah, okay. I was not aware of that. I don't think Ecto's mentioned that those will need to be shipped by PT, to be honest, if he has done a Supermassive. Are you planning to upgrade your list of personal keyboards for sale soon? Remember my kind request, please. I can't remember what your request was, Rue. If you DM me again just to refresh my memory. But yeah, like it's not high priority for me to update the list. Like selling my personal collection is very much a nice thing to do for me personally when I have the time, and often my time is better served fixing orders for customers or shipping orders for customers and working on new products or new processes or fighting tariffs or whatever else might be the flavor of the week. So yeah, whilst it would be nice to be able to sell some of my personal collection to have an income, because I don't have an income through PT at the minute, that's not always possible. And it's not always the best use of my time. So I've got to remember we are building the board wing keyless today. Okay, it's got the blockers, so no switches in the wing key positions. Okay, just the top row to go. Now, I did want to flag for you guys that the top row, the switches are inverted, as you can see here, apart from on the escape and on the pause key. The reason for that is because of the LEDs. You don't want to overwrite the LEDs, so just going to make sure we put these in the right order and the right way around, and then we can start with the soldering. Jay, do you have any keyboard grail which you want to own but can't for some reasons? Probably some of the older OTD stuff. I've been lucky enough to own quite a few OTDs in the past, and I've been lucky enough to build more than I've owned. There probably is a few. A camo green KMac Mini would be something I would love to have at some point, but I wouldn't want to pay for it, so. And there's probably some vintage boards out there that I'd be interested in as well. I do have some really old vintage boards, actually. I think the oldest ones are from like the 1960s, but getting those working is a nightmare. .356.2, blue one, nice. Yeah, I prefer 456 to a 356. GT, yeah. Okay. Just the spacebar to install, and then we are ready to check for bent pins and ready to solder. There we go. Happy to reduce the burden of your personal list and keyboard if we can. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I will take a look at your DM tomorrow, Mr. Rue, and see what I can do. Please bear in mind, like, selling my personal stuff is not priority, though. Oh, I want that still. Why did I get rid of the cloth? .356 Mini, 356.2, DK Saber, 356CL, and 360C. Very unlikely to own all at once, but still. Yeah. I think I have a 360C downstairs. It's not for sale, though, if I do. Do I still have that? I'd have to go look. Right, okay, so next up, visual check. I'm just going to check each and every pin from the switches that we've installed to make sure we've got no bent pins. I've already spotted one where we've got a bent pin. Hopefully we won't have too many more. I've spotted two where we have bent pins. Four switches where we've bent pins. Okay, let's get these out and fixed, and then we can make sure we got them soldered in nicely. This is where it's going to take a moment because these switches are super tight. So there we go. That's one with a bent pin. And that's fixed. Next one was here. that's now fixed. Oops. And then there was one. Where was the other two? There's one down here. And then spacebar. Okay, so two on the bottom row. Spacebar 1, and then we can get onto soldering. Switch pullers are so good. Yeah, the Wook ones are my favorite ones. I've probably used every switch puller on the market these days, and they're the only ones I come back to consistently. Okay, right, we are now ready to solder. Temptation of the first list was almost too much. Ideally, I'd like to get down to about 25 different keyboards in my personal collection. I think that's enough for me. 25 keyboards is probably where I'd want to be. Any more than that just feels like overkill for me. But I think at the minute there's somewhere north of 300. At its height, it was closer to 450, but we've dropped down a lot since it was that many. I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly how many I've got. I have not counted. Haven't seen the koala leave the desk. The koala leaves the desk. It's just there usually because on a Friday afternoon all I do is emails, and it's my favorite email board. I have different boards I use for different things. So coding, I use my JO1. Spreadsheets, I have a matrix Mr. Hat with matching numpad, which I use, CP pad, for spreadsheets and things like that. If I'm just browsing the web, I have, in fact, because I just put it on here the other day, I'll show you what I use just for browsing the web and doing web stuff. This is what I use just for general stuff. So yeah, so it just depends on what I'm doing. The only reason this is here is because, as I say, I use that for customer emails. I don't know why, I just do. It's a TGR koala. So you have a separate keyboard for having a wank. I don't do that at this desk. That would be wrong and weird considering I have staff. So,
incredible.
No would be the answer to that. That's what a phone's for, right?
Incredible.
Yeah, TGR Koala was a friends and family one. So this is it here. It's got the Prototypist Keyboards logo etched into it. And then a huge copper weight. TGR logo up here. Post 10 p.m. PT After Dark. Hey. We do generally have the section of the stream when I'm soldering where you guys can ask me any question. I'll answer it as openly and as honestly as I can. So if you have a question for me, ask away. Anything you'd like. You can ask any question you'd like. Just tag me with that J prototype so I see it. And you can ask me anything you want. Nothing is off limits. But only whilst I'm soldering. Other than that, it's kind of like limited to keyboard and keyboard adjacent topics. Yes. Dagi Cicero, very nice. Yeah, it's a lovely board. I enjoy using it. It may be one of the ones that ends up on the chopping board, but it is a really nice board. Watermelon? Wait, what? What's watermelon? Oh no, it's just Miami colors, pink and teal. My favorite two colorways, pink and teal. With GMK Analog Dreams and UK ISO. Celebrity crush. Do you know, one time it used to be Jennifer Lawrence. These days, I don't know. Like, I think I'm a little bit too old for crushes in particular. Like, I find a lot of people attractive, of course, everyone does, but celebrity crushes? I don't know. Like, 20 years ago, it had been Summer Glau and Jennifer Lawrence somewhere in between there. These days, I'm not so sure I have one. In fact, actually, no, I do. I do. One that's been there for the test of the time. Jennifer Connelly. If you've ever seen Jennifer Connelly in anything, she was in the TV show Snowpiercer recently. Yeah. Do I listen to the UK rock scene? Some of it, yeah. Like, I'm very much into alternative style music. I tend to listen to what was popular when I was 20, 25 years old, though, rather than what's popular now. So yeah, so I do listen to a lot of the UK rock scene. I would probably know more of the 25-year-ago rock scene, but yeah, I'm aware. I know you enjoy Moon's watches. Did you get the new Mission to Pink Moon phase? Do you switch straps on those or keep the default ones? There's something off about those, So it depends on the watch. Some I have switched bands to, others I haven't. The one I tend to wear, which isn't here, it's at home at the minute, is what's the colorway? It's the beige one now. Which one is that? It's a beige one. I have an orange strap with it, but I only tend to wear that outside of work. Inside work, I have the Moon one, which is just the grey and black one with the black strap, and I keep the original strap for that. But I do wear most of them. I've been wearing the Neptune one a lot recently, and I kept the original strap for that too. So it depends on the watch. I did not get the pink one. I really want it, and there's a small chance I'll be in London soonish. So I will have to swing by the Swatch store to see if it's available. If it is, it will get bought. If it's not, I'll walk away with a couple £100 in my pocket. So yeah, I'm hoping to meet up with Andy from Hebe in London soon. What's the breakdown of the tariff discussion in 10 seconds? Tariffs are bad, okay? There you go. That's pretty much it. Tariffs are bad, and it's going to mess up a lot of things, especially in the keyboard hobby. A lot of group buys are going to not make MOQ. Prices are going to have to rise in America. It's going to affect vendors around the world. That's pretty much the 10-second. Snowpiercer any good? It wasn't as good as the movie, I thought, with Chris Evans. But it's like a really interesting premise, so I still really enjoyed Snowpiercer. I also enjoyed Dark Matter that she was in recently. I see someone else has commented about Dark Matter as well. That was a really good TV show. Very clever. So Base, she's my celebrity crush as well. Jennifer Lawrence or Jennifer Connelly? Oh, it's all the Jennifers, isn't it? Is that because they start with the letter J and my name starts with J? I don't know. What about Joy Division? I love Joy Division. Ian Curtis was a legend. Love Will Tear Us Apart, Substance, Warsaw, Leaders of Men, all amazing songs. They were heavily on my playlist when I was a bit younger. I think there's a band, I can't remember the name of them. There's a band actually that are around now that remind me a lot of Joy Division. I feel like they're a Northern Irish band or something like that. What are they called? I've only had a few songs from them, but they're relatively modern. They're quite famous right now, doing quite well for themselves. But they just have that sound of Joy Division to them. Fontaine's DC, Alva. Yes, it is Fontaine's DC. Yes, that's it. Absolutely it. Yeah. Architects are great. Yeah, Architects are good. If only you knew that someone's going to be 5 minutes away from Covent Garden tomorrow and Tuesday and Wednesday. Oz, Killane, Mr. Killane, you are one of the greatest humans I know. And I thank you for trying to enable me. But I'm only going to buy it if and when I'm around the store. Because as much as I would appreciate you going for me, like, I really, really can't justify it at the minute. Because I've just been to Iceland and it's very expensive there. I'm just about to go to Barcelona. It's very expensive there, and I don't have much of an income right now. So, as much as I do want it, I'm only going to buy it if it happens to be there whilst I'm walking past. And I know I will be in London at some point soon, even if it's not to see the Hebe Gang. It'll be to see yourself, Mr. Klein. So maybe we'll take a walk together next time I'm down in London. Maybe I'll try and come down one day, late April, and see you, or maybe earlier if I can make the Hebe matchup work. USA's cooked. Yeah, that's a great little definition of it. What's the nicest and most thoughtful thing someone's done for you? Most recently, a lot of my good friends in the keyboard hobby came to the PT Open Day, and for my birthday, they brought me a card that was signed by people who were here on the day and those who couldn't come as well. They brought me a nice bottle of whiskey, a really nice mug for my coffee machine. They bought me a watch and a little Lego me, which is here, wearing a cactus outfit because he's cute and cool. Let's do it that way. As you can see, it does look like me. And also a little Lego McLaren. So, yeah. That was the nicest thing that anyone's done for me recently. Connolly? Yeah, okay. Favorite classical piece? Oh, excuse me, classical piece? I don't know, like... Classical music's never really spoken to me like it does to some people. I did used to listen to it a lot more when I was younger, especially when I was reading. I used to have like headphones in with classical music on. A lot of it was kind of like the standard, like contemporary stuff, like Vivaldi and Handel, and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know. I could pick a favorite piece. Maybe something like Clair de Lune or something like that. I don't know. It's not my... I'm not a hot topic on classical music as much as I should be. I could give like the boring, Vivaldi, Four Seasons or something like that kind of answer, but no. I won't do that. Gold GTI, Mark 1 or Mark 2? Mark 1, that's not even a question, dude. Some of the group buys already paid for. I was going to ask for extra payments because of the tariffs. I think that no one would have the legal legs to stand on to do that. Certainly here in the UK, I don't think we could if it ever happened in the UK. So I would doubt that would be possible for anyone to do. But it depends on the vendor, I guess. Depends on the vendor. They may say you can either pay it or we'll cancel it and then sell it as an in-stock product at the higher price. That might happen. But I don't think they can force you to pay extra for it, I don't think. But they might give you the choice to cancel the order or pay the extra. That's a little bit different. Following on from Captain Reed's introduced topic, if there's a profitable market opportunity for legal keyboard-related fetishes, would you start a business on that market? Look, I'm not in keyboards to make money, and I don't think anybody is, because there's not much money to be made in keyboards. Like, I don't make a living. Like, literally, I don't make a living. My team make money because they pay to do jobs. They make more money than I do, significantly more. If I added up all of the hours I've ever done for Prototypist and all of the work I've ever done for the company, I've probably been paid less than 10 cents an hour. Like, it's just, yeah. So if people wanted keyboard related fetish stuff, I would probably help procure that and supply it. Would I do that for profit? Probably not, because there's just not a market to do it for profit, really. Like, prices would have to be so intrinsically changed to make it profitable, or the market would have to be 10 times the size it is, and yeah, I don't think that's doable. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm wanting to move more into the coffee business. Like, we already have a coffee company. That's kind of like where I plan to make some money from, and I've looked at potentially going back to work. That's an option on the table as well, and doing a proper job again, just because I am going to need some income at some point soon. So yeah. And I also think there's always a time for new challenges as well. PT will continue and nothing will change with that. And my involvement won't change. But at the same time, I am looking for new challenges constantly. And there's a couple of challenges out there that are really interesting right now that I see as problems that could be solved, which is the exact kind of thing my mind needs. So I think my focus on the next couple of months is going to be, how do I look at those challenges and pick up some of those as maybe my future, effectively. But PT will still be around, it won't change, and yeah, we'll just carry on as normal. Ed and the Sheerans, yeah. New Dawn Fades, okay, I don't know those. Fontaine's DC is so good, yeah. Fontaine's are Irish, I thought they were, yeah. I think the watch is only for sale until the 12th though, so keep that in mind. Ah, oh, okay. Thanks for putting a time limit on it. I do love a bit of pink. So excited for the OFF festival. Have a nice life, Echo 2K, Fontaines and Craftwork. Nice. Proto Spankist. Woo! Only typists. Something like that. Do you think the future of us will be aftermarket? No. I think the future of the keyboard hobby is in flux right now. I think anyone trying to come up with an idea of any hobby that is primarily funded by USA-based customers is, you know, any guess you have about how the future is going to unfold is not going to be a prediction. It's going to be a guess. So we'll see. Watch this space. People significantly brighter and smarter and cleverer than I am are already looking into it. So, you know, there is hope yet. Okay, almost there with the soldering now. Okay, we are done. Let's catch up with chat. Keyboard fetish stuff is a thing. Actually, no, let's forget I asked that. Trending at 330 on eBay. Okay, that's not too bad. Not owning a TKL since my modded Leopold died to fluid damage, so I'm on the look for a high-end quality TKL. Should I consider getting in on the Bias DE, or are there other better TKLs coming up in the near future? Okay, so the thing about keyboards is there's always something else coming. That's been true for so long, it's almost impossible to say. At some point, you are going to have to put your money where your mouth is and just make an order. There is nothing wrong with buying a Bias DE. They're a fantastic board, and you'll see exactly how it goes together in a few minutes, because we've almost finished the soldering now. So yeah, so the idea is don't just keep waiting. Make a choice and live with your choice. You know, that's good advice for anyone, to be honest. Dumb question, what made you start PT? A lack of availability of things in the UK hobby at the time, and the opportunity to address that. So back in 2018, I offered Mech Boards in the UK some money to invest in their company and try and bring new products to it. They decided that they would prefer to work on their own stuff, so I started up PT 2019, 5 years ago. Everything is preference. Absolutely. Feel like if you wait for stuff in the keyboard hobby, you'll end up paying more and not get the exact thing you want. Yeah. There will be F1.8X V2 extras, yes. Right, okay, let's take a look at getting this board put together now. So. I'm gonna just plug this in, and then I'm going to just check the build guide. Wait, is there a build guide? Or is that something I've made up? Oh, I see. I see. These go underneath, like, Jay, what are you doing there? What are you doing? There we go. Save yourself some time on the keyboard money and just buy the SSX now. Shinseki going to be fire on the board? Yeah, I hope it's going to look great. So that's the board reassembled. Let's pop the screws in to hold the case together. Where did we put them? Here we go. The light bar diffuser mount, something like that. You'd have been cursing the board I put together the other day. The DR70F has 3 ribbon cables. So the reason why I find ribbon cables really hard is the lights here. Look, I can show you in the weight. There's a light there, and then there's a light there, and there's a light there. And those 3 lights mean that you guys get quite a nice view over the top. What I actually have to put up with looking at is like that constantly, just because of the angle I'm at. Like if you kind of look at it from my angle, all I can see is the lights in the background reflecting off stuff. So I find ribbon cables really hard to see in that bright light because of the reflective parts on them. Without the streaming lights on, I'm actually a lot better with them. Do you have any good screw trays in stock? Yeah, we have the 78N screw trays in stock right now. They're reasonably good. We're also just about to get the bowls in stock. So yes, we'll have those. And the play tray V2s, the original play trays here, those are about to arrive as well pretty soon. So lots of choices coming. Yeah. Right, okay, let's get this plugged in and make sure it works. Let's get up switch hitter. And then we'll put some keycaps on. We get the noise. Let's see if we can type. Okay, looking good so far. Oh wait, we've got it on ISO. Let's flick it over to ANSI. Start again. The bowl, yeah, the bowl squared, absolutely. I don't know if he's even shared pictures of those publicly yet, but those are literally about to leave China next week. That is soldered, but it's not working, so we might need to look at the code for that. Manu, if you're still watching, do you have the JSON for this board? Oops. Okay, looks like we're all working. I think that's just a JSON issue. We'll have a look at that later on. Right, okay, so there's the board all plugged in. You can see we have the LEDs on the front and rear, looking pretty smart and pretty nice. Let's get some keycaps on the board. Just unplug it for now. And let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, I think we go for a green spacebar because why not? Everyone loves a green spacebar. Let's try and use one of the accent enter keys. Jelly's frothing at the mouth. I think Mecha 01 would look amazing too. It does, yeah. I do have Mecha 01 from the around when we ran it here at PT, but it's on another board, so it's not something I can put on 8, 9, 10, 11 on this board. But Shinseki is something I can put on this board, so I will. We'll use a novelty for escape. Let's put the red key on escape. I do like that. Give it a little bit of a pizzazz. Wow, whatever you want to call it. I do like some of these keys. Go camera, focus please. Camera. Super cool.
Incredible.
Thank you so much, Svengali, for the follow. I thoroughly appreciate you. Does that have the scroll lock button instead of the lock button instead of scroll lock? I think. I haven't decided whether I want to use the purple or the green key there. We'll have a look in a second. Novelty's on the wrong side. Wait, what? Novelty's on the wrong side. You want me to put this over here? Well, I just want to use one for the escape key. I don't want to use lots of them. Assuming you mean the red escape key.
Tasty,
Can
tasty.
other keycaps go nice with this color board? Yeah. You could look at Mecha 01. You could look at Shinseki. You could look at any beige keycap set that would work really well. White on black. Sorry, not black on white. Lots of options. The alt, as it's meant to be 2 eyes. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, got you. Yeah, okay. Well, let's fix it then. Where's my keycap puller? This is where I find out my keycap puller's downstairs. It is, but I haven't unlocked.
Incredible.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that then. I did know it was supposed to be 2 eyes, and I don't know why I put it on that side. I was too busy concentrating on other things. Let's blame that. Boop. Right, alt key. Right, it should be on by default. Yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah, thank you. There we go. We have rectified it. I think I'm going to change for purple tab here rather than green. Just to make it a little bit more symmetrical. There we go. Need to find a proxy for prime as well. What's prime? Purple and green looks so good. Such a sick build. Dude, I already love this. I think it looks fantastic already. This board uses biome bolts. It does not. Okay, almost there now. Starting to look a little bit more like a keyboard. Oops. go. Keycaps out on the board. Prime is a Korean anodizing company. Oh, okay, yeah. F188 back from Prime Anodization. Yeah, okay, yeah. Matches GMK and Carbon and Stealth so well. Nice, nice. The nicest orange I've seen done is what I have on the Synovia prototype, which is from STR, I believe. Wish more boards had this scarlet red colour like cheat. Appreciate a purple-green cap sign combo to match the keyboard theme. Thanks, man. Mod pipe and till, just complaining for the sake of complaining. I mean, it's just for symmetry, right? Just for symmetry. No biomis remorse. Glad I didn't hesitate. Yeah, like just in terms of looks, like this just looks so good right now, right? Look at that. Sleek design here. The little hip across there. The diffuser doing work when it's plugged in along the back. Yeah, we'll do an ISO build if I can get the PEI plate. Excuse the fingerprints on the way. That's because I've been handling it. Let's see if we can get some of the fingerprints off quite quickly. This is not going to be a perfect cleaning job, but it'll make it look a little bit more presentable. Good old PVD action. What do you currently know about the GMK white and black restocks from PT? Nothing I can share at the minute, but I can tell you we've just put PBT white and black on white in stock with Milky Way for 50 quid, including UK ISO and a ton of compatibility. Wish the engravings on the biome boards were a little more visible. So you have to bear in mind that this is under really bright streamlights. So like that is really visible in real life. It's really hard to show you what that looks like in real life because I have to have the streamlights on so bright to get a good picture quality. But it's very, very visible in real life. I can't even get it to look close to how it looks in real life. But it is really visible in real life. Like it's super standout in real life. And you could always infill it as well if you wanted to. What plate have you used? This has got the polypropylene plate in it. Should we see how the board sounds? Let's pause the music. So this is the Bias DE with EV01 switches, GMK Shinseki on a polypropylene plate. Now the switches are stock, they're really old switches that we've had around for a long time, and I've used them just to make it look really fitting with the build. So let's see. If you like a clacky noise, that's really nice. If you guys like a clacky board, that sounds phenomenal. That sounds so good. That sounds so good. And it looks so beautiful. Look at that. Look how nicely the screen matches as well. Like when you get it in the bright. No, I don't use just one finger. Like I use 2 or 3 fingers and shift keys. I don't use this finger on either hand, and I always use 4-finger space bar. The reason for that is because when I learnt to type, on a ThinkPad with the trackpad here and the mouse buttons down here. So my hands tend to stretch and reach, and I would tend to hold shift and use these 2 fingers. Don't know why I don't use these 2, just don't. But pinkies get used for the two outer rows, and then because my thumbs would be down here on the trackpad and clicking the mouse buttons, my fingers just automatically found their way to space, and that's just how I learned to type 30 years ago. So yeah, I can't type any other way, and it's because we'd have the trackpad down here. So like back in the olden days, you'd have it's a bit too big. We'd have like we'd have the trackpad here, right, and then you'd have the mouse buttons underneath. So I learned to type so I could do this and like control my mouse and type all at the same time, because that's just how I learned to type. So yeah, you can make fun of my typing, I don't give a shit. You can make absolute fun of it, I don't care. I'm really comfortable with the way I type. I type at like 90 words a minute. It's comfortable for me. So yeah, I love the ThinkPad Red Blob. I could never get on with the little mouse button here. I much prefer the trackpad and the 2 mouse buttons underneath, but I used that daily for like, I don't know, 9 years before I ever used a separate keyboard. Gatekeeping typing styles is poopy anyway. Yeah. Can you hold it up to the face cam? Sure. The face cam's like color is going to be way off because I have to beat the LED light, so this is going to look really stupid. Like the skin tones look great on this camera. Board tones don't look great on this camera, so just bear that in mind, that this is super oversaturated. Always used index for spacebar. I blame learning to type when playing games and needing to be quick to talk shit about someone during games. There you go, man. Like, there's different reasons. I was just trying to understand what was going on, that's all. Yeah. Alphas look like Striker. Yeah, I mean they are not like they are. This is much closer to the real colors. You can see that these are slightly less purplish, more bluish on camera. Just because we've got such bright streamlights here. If I turn the streamlights off though, it'll dim the picture to. So this is just with normal office lighting. Watch how dim the cameras go. Like, you can't see anything. Actually, that's probably a lot more accurate from overhead, but you can't see me. Actually, that's pretty close. So yeah. But like, you can't see me because this camera does not pick up the light as well. So we need the streamlights on so you can actually see me, because that thing, as cool as it is, just washes out the camera. So yeah. So the Adam colorway is like black, and the other one is more dark, like gunmetal. Yeah, this is such a lovely board. It's so cool. It's so cool. I think we're waiting for 2 revised renders for the listing. I can't remember what colorways it was, but there was 2 revised renders that we were waiting for. They should be live on the site tomorrow morning. So yeah. But if you're interested in getting in on this board, guys, like, I wouldn't wait. I'd try and get one of the July shipping slots if you can, because it's genuinely stunning. I don't have any other words for it. Like, this little lip here that sticks out across this front edge, it's so hard to show you how nice that is. Like, look. Let's get the LEDs back on. Like, super nice. And then on the back as well. This is the full mounting plate. This was sent out to me before the revised plates were designed. So, yeah. Manu is going to try and get me a Ultim plate, the PEI plate, which we will build in ISO configuration with GMK Mecha 01. So we'll have like 2 builds that we can compare. Yeah, the LEDs are just super cool. Like, look at that. Like here in real life, I can see it just highlighting here across the desk. You can see it on my fingernails. Look, but I can just see the light on my desk here. You could probably barely see that. If I turn off the lights again, like, is that going to show? Oh, you can see against my fingers. Like, but I can see this shining down from this viewpoint. I have like probably close to that. Again, you can't really see it. The camera does not work well for this, but yeah, I can kind of see the light shining through, and it just looks really, really nice. I'll try and set it to green at some point, so it's just green, and we'll see what that looks like later on. But yeah, super, super happy with the board and the build. Okay, guys, have you guys got any last questions before we end the stream now? PEI, what's that? It's the alternate plate material. It's also called Altum, but it's a type of material for plates, and we're going to try and get that. It's going to make it somewhat difficult to keep it on the display stand. I don't think so. Let me see if I've got one of our display stands to hand. This is one of the prototype display stands. I don't know if we've got these in stock or not, but I should make some more if we haven't. Let's see how it works on the display stand. Works just fine. Works just fine. Get a good display stand. It works just great. 90-degree typing angle. This technically, I think this is 60. Sorry, no, this is 70. 72. If 90 is straight, I think this is 72. I think. I can't remember exactly, but it's not 90 degrees because 90 degrees would be like up here. I think it's like 70 or 80 degrees, maybe 72. I'm sure rings a bell. But yeah, it's there to there. That line against that 90. So yeah, what a great looking board. Bion has outdone himself on this one. Okay, folks, with that in mind, it's like 5 to 11. It is definitely time for me to go home now and get some sleep because I'm going to be here at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, definitely buy a stand. We had them in stock for like 4 years. It was one of the first things we ever made on the laser. I remember actually doing a laser stream in the old workshop where we designed and cut the first prototypes of these. That must have been 4 and a bit years ago. So yeah, we only did them in acrylic for the public. We did like these, like they must be on the website. Hold on. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can find them on the website. Did I get rid of the browser window? I did. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. I thought we'd been done with this, so. Oh, come on. Why are you not showing the browser now? Why is it not showing the browser? What is it doing? There we go. There we go. These are the keyboard stands. Are they still at stock? Oh, they are at stock. Okay. Maybe I need to make some more. I have enough acrylic to make some more. But yeah, these are the green ones that we used to sell. Laser cut acrylic. Oh, look, there's the lodestone on one. On the black acrylic. And then we did do some in atomic purple acrylic. That's yours truly's hands as well. But yeah, but we've done them like quite a few times in the past. There you go. The glass green ones are always my favorite, and that's what we tend to use here at the PT workshop. But we've got a lot of wooden ones because I just had a load of wood lying around, so we made some for that. But yeah, I'll make sure we get some more in stock. Blush pink acrylic lying around. I do. I have. If I don't knock that over there. I do have some blush pink acrylic. I have this color acrylic because this is what we made keyrings out of for the open day. So I do have some acrylic. We'll get some in stock. how this worked to display the backside of the keyboard. They weren't designed for that. They were only ever designed to have the keyboard on from the front. You could, in theory, turn the keyboard around, but like I wouldn't profess that would be a great way to use them. So it does work. Like you can see there, it works just fine. It's not going to slide off or anything else when you poke and prod at it, but you know, they were very much designed with using them in the correct orientation, like so. You have that on your car keys? Nice, man. Thanks. You still never see the front of a keyboard, but it is so good you're using it. Oof, nice. Right then, folks. It is time for me to finish stream. The light's going to turn off in about 2 minutes' time because that tells me it's time to go home. I'm really, really tired, so I will be back first thing in the morning in the workshop, sharing stuff on Instagram and cracking on with Insta orders and chasing up shipments and payments and 1,000,001 other things. So if you need anything, come check us out on Discord and Instagram over the next week, and I will see you all on stream at some point soon. Take care, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Bye bye.